Hello and welcome to Redefining Real Estate. I'm Brian Dobbs. Thank you for joining us today. I have a great program for you today. Want to really just share with you more about the difference and more about why we're doing redefining real estate and what this platform is all about in promoting our small businesses, our communities, local people around us. So Lyndon Wilson, a great friend, the founder of The Difference, the platform, my co-host as well. So I want to bring him in now. Lyndon, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm going to move
So
us over to different side of the screen.
that's terrific. Now I'm just going to have to shift my eyes over there. So your Arkansas Cup is typically on my left, and now it's on my right. So we're all
Uh-oh.
good. So
Okay.
Lyndon, how's your day going so far?
My day is going good, Brian. It really is. I have some complaints, but they don't matter. I know I don't have any complaints. I don't have any complaints. Things are going well. The difference is going well. I'm excited about what we're doing and helping people do in their communities and the awareness that we're bringing to the individuals, to their businesses, and into all their actions. I mean, I think that's what's cool. You've been with me since the beginning of this. You've seen it grow and evolve, and it's hard to keep up with sometimes because it has a life of its own. It's really going somewhat of a different direction than what I envisioned in the beginning, but I'm happy about that because it's allowing other people to do so much.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, prior to us getting into the difference and then the phases of development and where we're at now, and how does redefining real estate work in conjunction with that, and what is the purpose, etc. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that make redefining real estate available and make it work, and that's it's really an honor to me to mention Bavette Grill. Bavette Grill is in Granite Park in Plano, Texas. I want to tell you, I tell you this over and over and over, but the food is fantastic. The staff, the ownership are lovely. I would encourage you to go in there, get your reservation, and mention that you heard this on Redefining Real Estate or The Difference, and get your free appetizer. So you can reach them even at 469-287-2043 is their phone number, or just go to BavetteGrill.com. So thank you again, Bavette Grill, for being one of our sponsors. We greatly appreciate that. So Lyndon, with that, and this is a perfect segue here, because we have Bavette Grill. When we look at redefining real estate, are they part of real estate? Well, if we broadened our term of real estate beyond just home ownership, it could be commercial real estate. It could be real estate in your mind. It could be whatever you're buying, you're owning, and you're selling. It has a space. The difference is real estate on the airways. But what are we doing to make a difference on the media outlets, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our economy? What are we doing for the small business owners as well as our neighborhoods and our homeowners? So I have found that The Difference is an amazing platform that you created to share our story and to share our voice, and that's terrific.
Absolutely. It's not just in Brian, it's not just sharing our stories and our voices, which is very, very important, but it's making those connections. And you talked about Bavette Grill and how that relates to real estate. Well, for you're a real estate agent. Everybody that eats at Bavette Grill has to have a place to live. Everybody that works at Bavette Grill has to have a place to live. A lot of those are going to be in that community that you work. And so if we all can get to know each other and form a good relationship, then our communities become better, right? Bavette Grill does better if they've got more people that are more comfortable living in their neighborhood. Brian Dobbs does better if he's helping people buy homes in that neighborhood. The neighborhood and community does better if all people in that neighborhood are happy where they are and enjoying where they are, and they have a home that they love, and they have a restaurant that they love to go to, and the different activities. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring these communities in this large DFW metroplex. We're trying to isolate these little communities and bring some unity to them, that kind of gets lost in the shuffle in the fast-paced world of big city.
Absolutely. So number one, I want to look at this as far as just kind of a phase, because when being with you in the beginning, it was sharing our story, sharing our voice, being able to bring more exposure. Number two, absolutely making those connections and bringing a team of people together, which I think is fantastic. I want to be able to elaborate more on that and how the difference is doing that. We just had our one of our team meetings. Just what was it, last week?
Yeah,
Lyndon. My days are. I don't know if everybody else is experiencing this, but my days are all jumbled together. I don't know if it's Monday or Friday or Tuesday. I can tell you that we just work. We keep our heads down, and we're trying to stay with the pace of the market. It's been extremely busy. Been great. By the way, the real estate market is really going strong, and that's just encouraging to see as well, Lyndon, because people
Yes.
are working. It's moving. They're moving in, moving out. They're moving up. They're moving down. It's just a good thing to see. So I like that, and we're able to teach. So one thing that redefining real estate on the difference has done for me, one, gaining exposure, but it helps me personally build that team and
Sure.
and give my partners a voice or exposure or brand awareness and doing that. But then when we go into the community, and this is where I'd like to highlight this, Lyndon, and get your take, because you've been very instrumental in creating this. But when we go into like the Bavette Grills or Boardroom Salon as another sponsor that's coming on board. There's another restaurant that's coming on board. When we are hitting these other businesses, we are actually bringing value to our community and our neighborhood, which is amazing, and helping them grow and prosper and thrive, especially in the crazy times that we have lived in and experienced. I haven't experienced anything like this in my lifetime, and hopefully we don't have to experience something like this. But we're going to be stronger. We're going to be unified, and the more we can make the difference in our society today will determine our strengths for tomorrow.
Absolutely. And Brian, I just wanted to let you know real quick, we do have Sima backstage. So whenever you're ready to bring her on, you let me know. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I cannot see anybody backstage.
Okay. Well, then
the fact that they're backstage.
Well, she's back there being very, very patient.
Well, bring Sima on here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Sima. Hi.
Good morning, Brian.
Hello, Sima.
How's everyone doing?
Well, I want to introduce to you Sima Dillon, great friend. I have worked with Sima for last couple of years, and I called her last night, and we have our real estate team, and she has been in the real estate industry. I'll let her tell you how long, for quite some time now. Very well versed at both commercial as well as residential, and using this. And again, Sima has been very instrumental in building her own podcast and her own show, Heart to Heart with Sima, which I'm thrilled about, because it is a basically international outreach. It's not just something that's just in a local setting. She has a fantastic vision for it. So when we bring people on the difference, Sima, we bring people in redefining real estate. We've talked about this before. We utilize this platform for connections and partnerships, Yeah, it's brand awareness. Yes, it's exposure and that, but it's really building that community. It's building some fantastic relationships. It's helping people that need a little boost. It's encouraging the people that we come in contact with, and it's building that partnership in a time of where we see a lot of disunity and crisis. We're building unity and we're building courage. So, Simon, thanks for being here. And again, she is a major asset to our real estate group and what we're doing here in the local market, as well as I've just got to tell you, kudos for you building your show that's international outreach. I'm going to be there one of these days, Simon. Give me till June.
You need to be, because when you came on my show last time, between the mosquitoes running after you and attacking you and all the chaos, I can't use that show for my podcast, which is going to be released on the 15th of December. And I'm really excited about that. So we do need to have you again, and we reshoot.
Okay, so Lyndon.
Yes, sir.
This was a crazy.
I'm not ignoring
deal.
everybody. I wanted to say this real quick, Brian. Anybody watching, I'm not ignoring them. I run all the backstage stuff while I'm doing this. So if you see me looking down or I'm checking my phone, I'm making sure that all our connections and Facebook and everything like that. So just
he is trolling on Facebook.
Yeah, I am.
Gaining more friends.
I'm gaming. That's what I'm doing. I'm in the middle of a game. I've got the high school.
You know, that's awesome. So Lyndon, this story, I was on Simon's podcast. So Simon just had this rock star. What is it? Does he do ballet, or he does some kind of competitive professional dancing out of the UK? And where is he from originally?
So Kamal Singh, before I even share that story, just my name is Saima Dillon, viewers, and I am a realtor, have been one for over 16 years, completed 16 years in October. Have been through it all. It's been a journey. And I do love real estate. So, there's been highs and there's been lows, and I think that's what sales does. But when you do love what you're doing, the energy is just different. You jump into it and you are just, you're passionate about it because the relationships that you create, I feel, they are relationships for life. The laughters that you share with the clients, with teammates, with the people that you surround yourself with, they are just priceless. And I think Brian is sitting there and smiling because we share quite a few crazy moments when we are all together. And I think, these things are priceless when you do what you enjoy doing, and you're surrounded by people who soar your soul. It just doesn't get any better. So I do have a show called Heart to Heart with Saima. And on my show is about sharing stories of ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. And I feel that we are all ordinary people, and in our own capacity, in our own way, we are all doing extraordinary things. One of the guests that I recently had on my show was someone who was a friend of mine who's based in UK, in London. She pointed out to me that, hey, you know what, this young boy who's based in Delhi, India, and he crowdfunded. He got, he was the son of this rickshaw driver. Rickshaws are a form of transportation in India. And, he was watching ballet in a movie in India, and he fell in love with ballet dancing. And then he started trying to, figure out how does he learn ballet, because he loved dancing, traditional dancing of India, which is called the Bhangra. And he was like, okay, now how do I transition into ballet? And he ended up finding this school for himself, and his name is Kamal Singh, school which was run by this Argentinian, and who became his source. He became his the person who would take him from being that ordinary person into changing his life into something extremely extraordinary. And he started training him. He felt there was some X factor in Kamal Singh, and he brought him on. He started training him, and then they were like, okay, he took him to Russia. He started taking him. Kamal Singh did not have the money to do anything, so this Argentinian dance teacher based in Delhi, he said, I will fund everything for you. I will do whatever I need to do for you. And how amazing. I mean, I just find it's just so amazing, the quality of people, these people who are coming on my show, who I'm surrounding myself with. They're so inspiring, and they are, people to learn from, because he funded him. He did everything for him. And then he said, okay, you've been training for 3 years. Now you're 20. This is, the maximum age. Now you go and reapply in the world and see, where you can get admission to go, where you can learn ballet and perform as a professional. So they applied all over the world, and he did not get admission from any place. And then finally, one of the top schools in the world, the Ballet School of London, he heard from them, and they said, okay, you know what? We have given you admission, and find your way over here. So he needed £16,000. And at that point, his teacher said, okay, let's try crowdfunding. And they started putting it out there to raise the money for him to travel. And some of the big Bollywood actors and all, they saw these posts, and they started contributing money to his, for his tickets and for the cost of schooling. And I got him on the show just a week after he arrived in London, because, it was like a dream come true. And I just feel so inspired when I listen to the story of this 20-year-old who, so inspirational to have the courage to dream. And I just feel that if you have the courage to dream, Brian, then the whole universe will conspire to make it happen for you. And I think that right there is the story of Kamal Singh, and seeing, his dream being manifested.
That's excellent, and I was excited that you're reaching out to people that are they look untouchable, or it looks impossible to go around the world. But our technology today is fantastic, except for my internet that one day. And we've got to talk about the mosquitoes, because that was hysterical. Really wasn't, but it was hysterical. So, but to not only have the technology, to have the ability.
Yes.
It's really when we have the mindset to make the difference. It's a mindset to reach out. It's a mindset. We're going to ask. You know what? We might get a no, but you know what? If you ask long enough, you're going to get a yes. And principles that you ask, you seek, you knock. You continue to ask, because those who ask shall receive, and those who seek shall find, and those who knock, doors will be open. Those are principles that I live by, and I subscribe to, and you do as well, Simon. That's one of the reasons that we resonate in our real estate group, is because we believe, and it's because we'll go the extra mile, and it's because we're going to ask until we get an answer. It's till we seek, until we find what we're looking for, and knock until those doors are going to be open. So I've got to commend you. You're doing a fantastic job on your show.
Thank you, Brian.
So, and I was invited, Lyndon, and this is the funny story I want to bring to you guys, and you guys might not think it's funny at all. but Lyndon
It
will.
was definitely funny because we were live streaming.
Oh my goodness! So when you just put your mindset to make something happen, and you will fight off mosquitoes, you will fight off anything because you need to do the show. So Sima has been very wonderful in her shows, and I wanted to make sure it was wonderful. My internet just absolutely went out. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am scheduled for a show. She has a show. We have to go live. The show must go on. Whoever made that rule, I have no clue. However, we need to go talk to them. So we did. The show must go on. I'm sitting in my backyard on my phone because that was the only way I could get connected. And in Texas, it was a little hot that day, and I don't have a hat on, so I'm perspiring a little bit. My hair is a little wacky. I'm starting to get just feasted on by mosquitoes. And I said, Simon, hold on a minute. So I walk through my house on this show because we're live streaming. I walk to the front yard. The mosquitoes say, hey, listen, Brian is not from the backyard. He's on the front yard. So they just decide to fly around the house. And I am moving from tree to tree, out on the sidewalk, in the street, by the front door. Lyndon, I have never done a podcast. I've done a lot of shows, podcasts, commercial. I have done a lot of stuff, but I have never had to encounter the external outside forces of mosquitoes and run around trying to avoid a flying bug that wants to nibble on my arm. I'm just like, this is, you just have to overcome those odds. And when the odds are stacked against you, just keep pressing. When you have the obstacles and the hurdles, you just keep pressing. And
That's right.
And we have those things. So Lyndon, you've had obstacles and hurdles and gravel road experiences and roadblocks in building this platform as well. And now it's picking up momentum. It's gaining the direction and the trajectory that you want with the difference. We have how many shows now? Lyndon, is it 12 or did you just add 2 that we have 14?
Just added 1 that was, we were scheduled to start tomorrow. But I can really appreciate this. We pushed it back a week because we want, the host wants to make sure that it just how he wants it. And so, we're pushed that back a week. It's, the Greg Holly show. Greg actually played baseball for TCU, was, drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. He played a little baseball along the way. And now he owns a, baseball training facility in Fort Worth. And he's going to do a show. He's going to bring some really exciting, some well-known people on his show here and there. And we're excited to get that kicked off next week. But yeah, Brian, it is growing. I'm getting better at explaining what it is we're trying to do. I think that's been and it was hard for me to figure that out because as I've told people, this has kind of like been me running and trying to tie my shoes at the same time. I got into a pathway of something I'd never done before. So I'm learning this on the fly. And it's really kind of taking on a life of its own, which I'm excited about that. And I'm allowing that to happen because it's serving the purpose a bigger purpose than what I originally intended. And it is to help everybody out there that is fighting the challenges that we go through daily, just to provide for their families, to provide for their communities, to provide for their businesses. And what I want to be able to do, there is not one single business out there that doesn't need more exposure. Not at all. Now, getting that exposure sometimes can be expensive. And so we're trying to create something that is small business and entrepreneur friendly. I guess that's the only way I can explain it. But we've got great shows, Brian. You've got your show. There's several more. I made some great friends in doing this because you really get to know each other. You really, really do. And I do because I'm on every show, whether it's out here on the camera or whether it's backstage just pushing all the buttons. So I get to hear everything, and I'm learning more about everybody every day, and it's awesome.
That is great. And Simon, you have taken on this podcast because you've wanted to grow that. That's been a learning curve for you, correct?
Well, this whole thing has been a learning curve, Brian. I started doing my interviews with people, interviewing people, bringing people on, sharing stories. I started it on Zoom, and I started it end of April. So it's it went from Zoom, and it evolved into streaming live on Facebook, and then using a different service. And when I used that service, I was like, okay, so it lets me, I can actually stream on multiple platforms. And then I do have a women empowerment group, which has over 2,600 women. So I was like, okay, let me, these are empowering, inspiring stories. So let me stream into that group, and then on my Facebook business page. And then I got approved on LinkedIn. That was a platform I was just anxiously awaiting approval, and I got approval like a month ago. So then I started streaming on LinkedIn. So now I'm streaming in all three platforms, and I actually am now even thinking that maybe I want to even turn this into just repurpose. And it's just fun now, Brian. I'm just growing, evolving, communicating with people all over the world, because I am a humanitarian at heart, and I believe that we are all creation of the same creator. The differences, the distinctions, the borders, everything is man-made. And I feel that, everyone has the same right to live in this world. These are certain things which encourage me to actually bring people from different parts of the world to share their stories. And I'm actually thinking about trying to figure out how I can now convert this into a live production. Have it, have local guests, bring them here. I'm right now in my living room in my house, and like literally turn this into a studio, and maybe bring a videographer in here and turn it into a live production that we put out there. So I mean, it's just I have a lot on my plate, a lot of things going on, my real estate, and even from a real estate perspective. I did residential real estate. I started in 2004. And then in 2006, I started diversifying towards commercial real estate. And I was doing a lot of gas stations and shopping strips. And we went into we got hit by the 2007 recession. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's time to switch back to residential, because this is not the time for commercial. It's taking a huge hit, and which is what happened. Everything I had under production, it literally stopped. Nothing closed. I switched back to residential. And then, like around 3.5 years ago, with my mentor in commercial real estate, who has over 35 years experience, I switched into commercial real estate. I started focusing on hospitality and land and leasing. And then, when COVID happened, it was like, oh my God, it's history repeating itself. And, again, for me, residential real estate has been, that constant where no matter what happens, at least you still have something to fall back on, and something like right behind you to sustain you. But right now, I with the team and with the vision that I have and that I'm working towards, I'm building the residential aspect of my business, so I can have people and we automate it and do the same thing over the next couple of years on the commercial aspect. And I built my podcast and I'm building my social media platform as well. So I do have multiple things, that I'm working on, and there's a lot of trial and error, and you do things and you're like, okay, you know what, this is not working, I need to re-strategize. And I think that's the life of an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And
right.
Saima, so on this, and I'm going to go from this point real quick, because Lyndon and Saima, you understand this. When we're building out our vision and we're building out our dreams, how important is it to have that team of people around us?
Very important.
Lyndon?
Well, I mean, I don't think you can do it with. I think I think that you have a ceiling if you don't have a good team.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you're also going to find a lot of inconsistency if you don't have a good team, because somebody's got to fill the gap. Okay. I'm an old football coach, right? Friday nights, we play football. Not everybody on that field at that particular time, the 11 guys, was ready to play. They just weren't. Mm-hmm. Some of them may be nicked up a little bit. Some of them may, there's 11 guys, but somebody is not going to be at their best. And when that happens, everybody else has to pick it up, right? And so I have taken what I've learned in sports, my life, what I've learned in coaching, and I've studied businesses. And Brian, you and I've had this discussion now for 2 years, and there are just, I feel like that there's not enough people that really understand what a team is all about. Okay, mm-hmm. we can meet people and we can connect, and I use that term loosely, but that doesn't mean we've established a team until we deepen that connection and really develop a relationship, and we're all pulling towards the same goal. And one of those goals is to have the back of everybody else on the team. A lot of times that's not what we have. We have a group of people together, but nobody really has each other's back.
Mm-hmm. So, and I've written down some notes here. I'm going to go through these 4 points, and then I want to give a shout out real quick. So, one, we've discussed share your voice, share your story. Simon, you're doing that. Lyndon, you're doing that. I am doing that. We're using our platforms. We're using what we have to get people on to share our stories, share our voices, help them get the exposure that they need, introduce them to new contacts that would help them. Number 2, building the team around us. I think that's really important, that we're going to talk about a little bit more, as well as our Saima, you mentioned you being a humanitarian at heart, which you truly are. Amazing. And by the way, Saima, you have never lacked for words. You are very articulate. You communicate great. You are able to share your story, and you can truly feel the heart to heart with Saima. So I love that, and want to encourage you on that.
Thank you,
Lyndon. You are, when you help others, it sometimes feels like you grab us by the face mask and you pull us over to the sideline and you're yelling in our ear, but it's out of like this massive passion and this determination of that there isn't a roadblock, there isn't a hurdle, there isn't anything that can stand in our way that we can't overcome and conquer it. And just love that. So
let me jump in. Let me jump in real quick. I want to tell you where I got that. Because I actually thought about this the other day. My dad, who passed away almost 20 years ago, he was never a football coach, but I heard him say this many times. He never said it to me, but I heard him say it to other people. He was really involved in our church and Sunday school and things like that. And he made a comment one day that, I know I get on your nerves sometimes, but when I stop talking to you, I've given up on you.
Wow.
And that hit me. I'm like, and I've seen that, Brian. I've seen that over the years. The people, and I was the same way as a coach. I'm coaching hard, and I'm correcting, and I'm loving, and I'm correcting, and I'm loving. The minute that I stop trying, it's over. And so I push hard because I want us all to get to the top at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that, and that's why we have a great friendship, and it's really interesting that the dynamics and the mix here. I am a visionary at heart. I'm philanthropic. I like to see people helped and encouraged and taught and mentored. And then there's that part that I resonate with you, Lyndon, that football coach, because I've been in athletics. I like it. I love the gym because I like to push myself. Sima, where I resonate with you is that humanitarian, you know what, let's go help people. And we're going to go pick up those people that are down. We're going to encourage them people. We want a smile on their face. And that is great. Not that Lyndon and I don't want people to smile at all, but we're the ones that go, hey, listen, I know you just got knocked down and we're going to help you up. But there's sometimes that we have to, there's ebbs and flows in our life that sometimes you just have to toughen up and hear the truth because it hurts and it sucks at times. But that's where you grow. And then there's sometimes that we just need to hug somebody, and we just need to not lecture and not beat them over the head, but just say, hey, listen, you know what, it's going to be okay, and you're going to be fine. So sharing our stories, I love the dynamics here today. So helping others is really a heartbeat of all of us, and then teaching others. And we haven't talked about this. But before we go into the seminars that we're doing, Lyndon, you're doing the biz development for people in the difference and helping them as well. And we're building connections in the community, which is fantastic. But we also want to teach. We also want to mentor. And Simon, you mentioned having a mentor. And Lyndon, you've been a coach. I've been a coach for years, and I think that teaching element and establishing principles is going to be really key for us moving forward. So first and foremost, want to get my shout out to Bavette Grill again, because Bavette Grill makes it possible for redefining real estate. Our sponsors through this program and through the difference allows us to do what we do, allows us to invite you to come be a guest, be a host, be a sponsor, be a part of the difference, because you have a story as well. So enjoy your meals at Bavette Grill. Get to know the staff. Get to know the owners. They're fantastic people. You'll love the atmosphere and the environment of it, and the food is fantastic. Mention that you've heard about Bavette Grill and redefining real estate and the difference, and you'll be able to get a free appetizer. Thank you again, Bavette Grill, for being a fantastic sponsor to Redefining Real Estate. So let's segue into teaching others. Now, Sima, you and I and Lori and our group, our real estate group, we are doing seminars, and I created a series called Educated Buyer, Educated Seller series. Basically, we're talking about wealth and real estate. So when we're talking about redefining real estate, we are actually going in with the purpose of strengthening families, building better neighborhoods, and building better and stronger communities, because people know how to leverage their real estate. So they know how to work their real estate. They know how to buy correctly. They know how to sell correctly. They know how to own correctly. And it goes without saying, it's really important to learn about commercial real estate. Don't you think it's important to be taught about just going to buy a commercial piece of property instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping everything works out? I mean, help me understand that, Simon, and talk to me a little bit about the education process. You've been in our seminars. You're an integral part in this and what we're doing. But they've heard from me, and I talk about it quite often. But I want to hear your take on the Educated Buyer, Educated Seller series, and how it is making a difference in teaching real estate principles that people should learn.
I mean, educated buyers, educated sellers, it's first of all, it's a free seminar that we are hosting, and the sole purpose is to educate people, not just to become a typical buyer who goes out there and buys a real estate, excuse me, invest in real estate, but at the same time turn that purchase, turn that home buying into an actual investment, to be able to eventually create this income stream where one is able to diversify the portfolio, and create real estate wealth, in conjunction with living, in conjunction with buying a home for yourself.
Right. So I think Lyndon and Saima, I think we might get hung up on the word wealth. I
agree.
like it. I
agree.
think that there's a lot of people that they're like, whoa, I've seen a bad example of what wealth has done to people, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. So in this series, when we're talking about wealth and we're talking about real estate, if you could utilize and leverage your home, your business, property, to an extent that your leverage, let's say that something happens such as this crisis and you need to liquidate, or you need to have some ability to pull cash out of an investment property. I think it behooves you to pull it out of an investment property versus your primary residence. Basically just safeguarding yourself, basically building up a holistic wealth model around you, utilizing real estate, utilizing your stocks and your bonds and your IRAs, utilizing your cash from a holistic standpoint that would cause you to have that security or an outlet to pull cash out, or to keep cash in, or to create basically the generate additional income if you use it correctly.
So, Brian, when we use the word wealth, we are not talking about becoming that individual who is of the mindset that, take, and you become this, this person who's just always focused on taking and building wealth for themselves. We are actually talking about creating, a set of investments where you put a certain amount of money, and then you leverage it, and you build it into a product, or into an income stream where eventually down the road you're able to generate passive income. Because at the end of the day, irrespective, I even tell my nieces and nephews who are in their 20s that, go and buy your first house now, and even though you're working, you might not be here tomorrow, or you might be in a different state. When you move to a different state, you go and you buy over there as well, and you invest there as well, and you put down what you need to put down, and then you just keep building your portfolio, so that you reach a point in 15 years time where you have a certain amount of properties which are paid off, and they are able to generate, and you are able to generate passive income, a passive income stream for yourself. So that you don't have to necessarily work 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I'm a true believer that there's more to life than just working all the time, right? So I think that's what wealth means to me, to have quality of life, and to live your best life, and to be able to retire when you want to retire, where a certain stream of income is coming in for you.
I love that. Live your best life. I just think that's fantastic. And Lyndon, you and I have talked about that. Sima, you and I have also talked about that. And having additional income, you pay your kids' college, you can pay off debt, you can, put money aside. I know if you are a humanitarian, if you are benevolent, if you're a philanthropic, if you're into nonprofits, guess what you want? You want some additional cash, right? To go help people. I mean, it's just it's ingrained in us, and we can't get it out. So it's smart for us to build income streams or passive income. So when we're doing our job, we're actually allowing that leverage of our real estate or our stocks, bonds, or investments to generate income for us. So when we go out or we find a need or we find a business that needs help, we have the cash reserves to go in there and help. If sometimes it takes money, sometimes it takes a team of people, sometimes it just takes a big old hug. I mean, there are different ways to solve the problem. There's different ways to meet the needs. It's not always cash. But I want to tell
Brian,
you.
Sorry, I am interrupting you, but what COVID has brought, it's brought different things for different people. And for some people, what COVID has brought is loss of income, loss of jobs. I originally am from Pakistan, and came here as an immigrant to this country to study, which I did. I was speaking to some school friends. We were on a Zoom call on Sunday, where 9 of my class fellows from back in Pakistan, from all over the world, we connected. And my friends who are in Pakistan, they were like, you know what? If this is the time, if you need to help people, there are so many people who are without jobs right now. It's a different way of living. It's a different lifestyle over there. And if any of you are able to help, distant relatives, friends, financially, this is the time to do it. And that's literally what it is. If there is something one is able to do, that money, wealth, that money is not necessarily something that you have to go out and you have to indulge. It's money that can be utilized to help other people, to help your neighbors, to help your relatives, to help your friends. Because at the end of the day, what good is that money? What good is your wealth if it doesn't help people around you?
Absolutely. One of the things that you mentioned with COVID, there's a lot of people that have suffered a huge financial hit, and there's other people that have lost their jobs, that their companies went under. And one of the things that I'm seeing, that even in real estate provides a lot of opportunities for people. I mean, at our team meeting today, we're bringing in a new person to add to our team, and they got furloughed off their job, and they got back into real estate. And one part of our team that we emphasize, not only do we teach the Educated Buyer, Educated Seller series, we're teaching homeowners how to sell, how to own, and how to buy real estate to leverage properly. But we're also bringing in people that need a transition or need a new career path that's going to give them the financial independence and freedom of time. And we have the coaching, we have the mentoring, we have the technology to help these people get up on their feet, to get back into making some money and providing for their families. And real estate, I see real estate offered just for people that need to have employment. Is it difficult? Absolutely. Is it a business? Yes, it is. It's not a hobby. But when we treat it like a true business, and you have the coaching and the mentoring, and you have the people around you, and then with all of our partners that we have we've gathered and selected around us, I want to tell you, those are connections that we also like to make. is people that are coming into this career, or people that have been sidelined in real estate and they need help. We do that as well. We have a meeting that we meet twice a month with agents, and we're starting that back up because we need each other. We need that human to human contact and connection, and that we can share stories. We can help people, because there's 7.5 million people in DFW. I want to tell you, there's plenty of business to go around, and we can help that. But then there's 300 plus million people in the United States, and then there's 7 billion people around the world. We can make the difference, Lyndon. That's a shout out to the difference. But we can make the difference when we're growing our teams, and we're reaching out to individuals, and we're doing the right things with our resources, money, our education, our knowledge, our gifts, talent, skill sets, and abilities. It is fantastic. So, and I appreciate both of you, because you are making a difference in your world. You're making a difference for the people around you. You're branching out, doing something that most people haven't done and aren't doing, because you've overcome that fear, because you see the reward. It was so much greater than the fear that held you back.
Right.
And that's what we're helping people. Lyndon, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing with you. I wanted to jump in on what you and Simon were talking about with the when you started talking about wealth. And I think that for just being in credit repair for 18 years and understanding the level of financial education that most people have, and it's perpetuated through family after family after family. And you can see that. And unfortunately, no one really complains about that at the upper level, because more money is made off the uneducated financial person than it is off an educated financial person. But one thing that I would say that I've learned in y'all's seminars is that home ownership, if done correctly, creates opportunity and freedom. The two main things, because it creates a gateway to money. And you don't have to be money obsessed to want freedom and opportunity.
Correct.
Absolutely.
What you do with that freedom and that opportunity, you can serve others, you can serve your family, you can, it's endless, but you have to have the tool to have the opportunity and freedom. And that's what you guys are teaching. It opened doors. Real estate, if done properly, and Brian, you talk about the home ownership, which is a component that you're really talking about now, because a lot of new home buyers have been renters. They don't know how to own a home and save money. But in doing the educated buyer, educated seller, it educates you on a way that opens doors for you that your 9-to-5 job will never ever do. It just won't. And not only are you talking about it, but you're putting a team together that is a support group for the home buyer. And that, to me, is what's amazing about it. Because in a lot of cases, and I'm not saying this overall, but in a lot of cases, I am wined and dined while I'm trying to buy my house. But once I buy it, I don't hear from anybody anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And if I'm a first-time home buyer that's rented my whole life, I am lost as a goose when some of the things start to happen. And you guys have that support group. I think it's amazing. I think you guys are doing an awesome job.
Thank you. We have structured this to not be a transactional or a gig based business, because homeownership is important to me. Homeownership should be important to all of us. And when we work with a client, the life cycle of a client is also taken in account of when we work with somebody. We want to work with someone on selling and then owning. How long do you want to own? And we're going to show you how to maintain that home. We're going to show you what improvements that you should consider. We're going to show you how to keep the home to a place where if you ever did need to sell it, you could, and it would be ready to sell. We're also going to show you how to buy and buy correctly, because those are just important things in home ownership that we're going to do. But we're just not going to stop there. If we can help you build that portfolio where that's generating the cash to send your children to college, to ease up the financial pressure, to get you out of debt, to enable you to start your dream job, to enable you to leverage yourself and your time to go out and start a podcast like Sima's, Heart to Heart with Sima, or to start a nonprofit and work with the homeless, or work with people that need food, or whatever it may be. If you just want to go, again, start your own business, it takes capital. And when you have that and you leverage your real estate to an extent that is generating the cash, it just becomes easier. It just alleviates additional stresses and anxiety. When you don't have the cash flow, you've actually created it through what you have. So one of the things that I say, and I say it quite often in the seminars, it's not what you do that makes a difference. It's not what you have that makes a difference. It's what you do with what you have that makes the difference.
Amen.
So that's important. We just show people, hey, listen, you have XYZ. And then we show you how to take XYZ and make it profitable and make it income producing and leverage it properly. There are sometimes that you have XYZ and it's not enough. But then we map out a plan for you and show you, if you would bring it up to here, then you can go and use it over here. So it's not twisting somebody's arm and saying, hey, listen, do you know of anybody that's looking to buy or sell a house? Not a bad question. We're just saying, hey, listen, what do you have in your house right now? What do you have in your pocket? What are you doing with it? And if you're not doing anything with it, we show you a plan of how you can get to a place. If you are doing something with it, then we look at that plan to see if you have the right trajectory to hit your goals. So really exciting stuff here. Simon,
Yep.
Do you have any closing statements?
We got about 2 minutes left.
So, not as such. I mean, we are here for our clients because these are relationships. And I think one of my taglines for my podcast is touching lives. And I think for me, it is all about touching lives, whether it's through real estate, it's in real life, irrespective of anything, you help people. I just recently, I had closed last year on this property where the client was a physician based in Saudi Arabia, and he was here, moving his family here. One of the children was handicapped, and they were needing to, relocate for medical purpose. And they just called me. 2 days ago, they left me a voicemail that, okay, we have received a letter to pay our taxes. And, as soon as I got their message, he was like, please call my wife, and she's trying to figure out what we need to pay. And literally, Brian, I got the wife on the line. I called the appraisal district. I called the tax assessor's office. We called the title company to see what they had paid. Like within hours, we had all the answers, and we made sure that they had the information that they needed to make a decision. So basically what I'm trying to say is it's not just about the commissions or the money. It's about relationships, because relationships matter.
And helping people. Absolutely. And Simon, you have just taken all of my 2 minutes. So you're awesome. Guys, we have a great team, and we want to make sure that any questions that you have, or however we can serve you with your real estate needs, please let us know. Sima is very well versed at residential and commercial. We have people that speak Spanish. Have a very diversified group. We're really excited about helping lives and changing families and communities and neighborhoods and making us better. So I also want to extend the invitation. If you have a small business and would like to be a part or be a guest on Redefining Real Estate, please reach out to me. I'd love to sit down and talk to you, answer any questions that you have. What does that look like? What questions are we going to ask to make you feel comfortable that you can share your voice, share your story, share about your business to get additional exposure. However we can help, we want to do it. But thank you so much for joining us today. Sima Linden, thank you for being on the show today. You have made it truly remarkable, and I greatly appreciate both of you and our friendships that we share. So thank you. And again, please share the show. We appreciate our sponsor, Vivek Karel. Go by, check them out for us, and mention Redefining Real Estate. And we will see you next week, Tuesday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. Thank you so much. This is Brian Dobbs signing off.
The Difference is a proud supporter of the following nonprofits. Creek and Timber Legacy, providing outdoor learning, hunting, and firearm therapy for veterans, first responders, and children with serious illness. You can find more info at creekandtimberlegacy.org. And Sharp Shoes. Through local schools and shelters, Sharp Shoes helps provide new shoes for countless needy people and their families. You can find more info at sharpshoes.org.